Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. Uh, Welcome to Live Video at 5. I'm so excited today to be joined by an amazing musician. Has a lot of experience in music and ukulele, as you can see, and also in guitar playing. And he's originally from Hawaii, which is also my other love, Jaka. And so I'm super excited to have him on, and he's going to have, some great stories about his journey and a lot about the music and the festivals that he's been running. So I'm super excited. So welcome, Mitch. Welcome to
All
the show.
right. Thanks, Leo.
How are you doing?
Busy day today. So that's why it's nice to have something to goof around on after a long day.
Yeah, I totally get it. It's super relaxing, after being stressed. And I know that myself, I play a little bit, very little. And I try to play like maybe 15 minutes at night, before I go to bed. It relaxes me, and I go to bed. I haven't lately because I've been so busy, but I totally get it. Like it's good to wind down with some music, right?
Yeah. Plus, too, if I'm looking at a computer screen all day and I kind of want to maybe watch a movie or something just to uh, chill out later on, but then I'm staring at another screen, and it's kind of a drag.
Yeah, that's totally true. We're looking at screens like all day long now. Like either it's a computer or a phone or an iPad or TV or something like that. So it's really straining on your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You gotta do something more tactile.
yeah. So for everybody out there who's watching, a bunch of you are jumping on. If you are coming on just now, please go ahead and comment in the comment box there and let us know that you are coming in live and that you can hear us okay. Because of course this is going to be a show where we're going to need a lot of audio because we're going to hear some great things from Mitch. So just a quick backstory intro on Mitch. Mitch is originally from Hawaii, and his first instrument, of course, is an ukulele, which is what he's holding right now. And he had eventually moved to California. I'd love to hear that story a little bit more. But he also is the creator of the Los Angeles International Ukulele Festival, which is ran every single year and has been had great success and great attendance every year. I'd like for him to talk about that as well. We got a lot to get to. So thank you for coming on and watching. If you're watching this on a replay, go ahead and just put in the comments replay. Hello, Samantha. Hello, Veronica. Welcome.
All
So
right, got some ladies watching.
yeah,
I gotta
awesome.
play good.
Yeah, you gotta show off for the ladies. They want the best. So, Mitch, tell us about your kind of your background. You were born and raised in Hawaii.
Yes, I was. This was actually my very first instrument. I mean, a lot of us, kids play the basics in Hawaii growing up, maybe for school, whatever. I actually went to this pretty famous ukulele school, the Roy Sakuma School, but that was only for like a hot minute. I don't know how old I was, maybe 5 or something. I don't even know how long I was there. I don't think I lasted very long, but then I moved on to piano. I really got into music in like the 6th, 7th grade when I joined the band. So I played sax. That was my first real instrument. Switched to drums. Ukulele was kind of just off and on in my life. Um, Mostly when I was like in college. When I got to the college level, and in college you're always pretty broke. You're probably more broke in college than you are in high school. So yeah, I would teach ukulele here and there. I used to teach at the Pearl Harbor Community Center and things like that, just to make money. And but I was studying music in school, so I'm actually really I studied classical guitar. So that's where a lot of my technique comes from is classical guitar. I like the instrumental kind of a thing where you put the chords and the melody and you put it together because I'm not a good singer. If I was a good singer, I could get away with just doing really basic strumming stuff. But while I was in college at the University of Hawaii, studying guitar, my professor got me into flamenco. She said, "Do you want to learn how to play flamenco for a dance class?" And I didn't think I was gonna be into it, but I ended up really, really liking flamenco. So eventually, that's basically what brought me to California, was to play flamenco guitar, and I did. San Francisco, I moved down to Southern California in the day after Christmas 2000, and yeah, I'd play around for like classes, shows, restaurants, whatever, and that was a lot of fun. But I got back into ukulele in a big way when I was living in Orange County. Probably somewhere around 2003, I read an article in the OC Register about this guy who was at the time like 95, 96 years old, had just been inducted into the Ukulele Hall of Fame. And I noticed in the article that the person who nominated him for the Hall of Fame was one of my college professors, who I have the utmost respect for, incredible musician. And so I thought, oh, this guy's a jazz guy, 95 years old. He was a big band leader back in the day. He's from Hawaii too. And I said, man, I'm gonna look up this guy. So I just looked him up in the actual phone book that we still had around. I looked him up in the phone book. I called him. I said, hey, I read about you in the paper, and Byron Yasui, Dr. Yasui, was one of my professors at UH. I would love to come down and learn with you. And so it's through him that I really got back into ukulele. I learned all the jazz standards, from him. And I gotta tell you, at 95 years old, he was alive and playing until like 102. He could run circles around anybody.
Wow.
Just a really, really good musician,
Wow.
And he taught me the style of swing, and I try to emulate his style. I'm not good enough to do like bebop kind of stuff, but I like a good tune. Just on the swing feel is just really fun.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that story. So now you had started playing when you were little, but was your family, with your parents and everything, were they musical?
No, but I gotta say, my sisters, I have twin sisters who are older, and so they were in the intermediate school band, who at that time they were playing like college level stuff. It was a really, really good intermediate school band. So one played clarinet, one played flute, and it was very fascinating to me to hear them practice their parts. But if you just hear the isolated clarinet part or the isolated flute part, it doesn't sound like much, right? And then it was amazing when it all came together in the with the rest of the band, and I realized, oh, this is what harmony is. It was just really fascinating to see how it all fit together.
Well, yeah, I know. I remember my very first experience watching a full symphony. They were practicing in college, and I just heard the music, and I walked in, and they were rehearsing, and there was nobody else in there except them. And then I could see the conductor putting every pieces together, the parts and everything, and directing and telling people like, okay, stop. Hey, this part you got to do this, and this part you got to do that. And then when they all play together, I had the same kind of, experience. Like, oh, this is how everything's put together, but it's done in real time.
Right.
So yeah, I was super fascinated with that. But so I mean, it sounded like you almost had experience with almost every instrument out there. I mean, you had at least some experience with the wind instruments, and then string instruments. You played piano, which is basically percussion. And then different styles of string instruments with guitar, and then ukulele, and then you had influence from the Latin flamenco, but then also some Hawaiian influences too, right?
Right. Yep. And you learn something from everything. From being in band, I just, like I said, I learned how all the parts fit together. Gave me an understanding of what harmony is, although I didn't realize it really at the time, because we didn't really learn music theory in school. I had to wait till college to learn anything about theory. But yeah, the technique, wind technique, percussion techniques, because I played drums in school too. And then when it comes to flamenco, the whole accompaniment part blew wide open for me. I learned so much about accompanying others thanks to flamenco. There's this thing called space. You don't have to always be strumming and stuff. There's groove, there's space. They call it soniquete in Spanish. The groove, and it just really opened my eyes to a whole new thing. And anyway, that's yeah. By the way, the ukulele thing that's great about the ukulele, it's so easy to get started. This is like a little mini orchestra, which I want to show you about in a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to, get into that. So it sounded like you moved to California in the early 2000 or 2000. So you've been in California basically. I mean, you was some in Northern California, but then you're down here. Tell me, you're correct me if I'm wrong. You're down in the Torrance, Gardena area now.
Right now, I am, but yeah, when I first got here, I was basically in Irvine, Tustin area.
Oh, okay.
Then I moved out to Downey. I lived with the flamenco buddy for 4 years, but still, what do you call it? Uh, Commuting down to Orange County all the time for my other job. Um, but let's see, around 2009, I moved to the South Bay, North Redondo Beach, and then around 2013, I think 2012, I did move over to Detroit for a year and a half. Came back and came back to Gardena. And Gardena is very, very Hawaiian Asian friendly.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it.
Yeah, I know it because I grew up in Torrance. I graduated in West Torrance High School, and then we
Okay.
moved down to Orange County. We kind of did the opposite thing than you. We moved down to Orange County after we graduated high school, and so for the most from the late '90s, I've been here in Orange County, and I'm here in Irvine now. So like we're like swapped swapped areas there. I love Torrance. It was a great area to be in South Bay. I'm close by to all the beaches. I'm down in Redondo all the time, Hermosa, Manhattan, and Venice Beach, and all those areas. That's where kind of my heart is as far as the beach community is concerned. When we moved down here, after many years, we saw how much development there was, in those beach areas. And down here, it's still pretty not overdeveloped. It's for lack of better words, down here. So in Orange County, I think our beaches and stuff like that are like how it was in the South Bay maybe 20, 30 years ago, so we still, I think, so I'm grateful, I'm happy, because whenever I go back to South Bay, I go, oh my God, this is too crowded for me, because all those homes right on the beach in Hermosa, they all were one story. They were all one story. And so, when we go back now, it's like 2, 3 stories. It's all, heightened up. And even you go back a few streets are pretty built up too. So, but I still remember so much of that area from my, growing up. And so I really love it. So great. So you're, tell us how you got, well, first of all, I know that music isn't the only thing that you did, throughout your life. You're also a loan officer. You did mortgage. You're still doing mortgage. How did that come into your life? And that's your main income, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. Well, when I was up in San Francisco thinking about moving down to Southern California, I didn't know anybody. I knew one flamenco dancer and one flamenco guitarist. That's all I knew. But then my friends from Hawaii said, "Oh, we're gonna open up a mortgage company in Irvine. Do you want to come down and help us and work for us?" I did a little bit of work for them in Hawaii, and so I said, "Yeah, why the hell not?" And so I learned the ropes. And when I took a break from the mortgage industry in 2007, 2008, for obvious reasons, I started actually going back to concert production, which is what I did in Hawaii too. And the concert that I put on in 2008, my first one in California, well, second one technically, it was the Southern California Slack Key Festival. If you don't know what Slack Key is, it's a Hawaiian style guitar. And it was something that everybody was like really excited about, So that was in 2008. It's still going on. So we just finished the 13th year this past January. However, I don't know if you remember. Do you know how you and I got in touch with each other? Dick Lobin, the realtor. He's a real estate agent down in Irvine. He's actually been coming to my festival, since the beginning. And when I got back into the mortgage industry in whatever it was, 2014, I called him. I said, "Hey, let's talk about, working together. He's been really, really great, very supportive and everything. And I forgot what the question was, but that's
Yeah, there wasn't any specific questions. Was just kind of saying how the mortgage banking thing, how you got into it, which you talked about, and then you and I connected through Dick. Yes, Dick is a great realtor down here for a very long time. He's just a super great person, always supportive of giving his time, and also he's involved in a lot of the local community organizations down here, and so he introduced me to you because your festival was coming up, and he had free tickets, and so he said, "Hey, here's some tickets. You should go." And I wanted to go, but I couldn't make it last minute because of other things that came up, and I still haven't gone, and I still really want to go, and so that's how we got connected together. But I want to talk a little bit more about the festival, but maybe we can do a song right now, if you have something in mind that you can play for us.
Well, I'll show you a little demonstration actually. So there's 4 strings, right? And this string is tuned to G, this string is tuned to C, this is tuned to E, this is A. So G, C, E, A. If I put my finger right here, that's a C chord. But what a lot of people who don't play music might not realize is that everyone knows the word chord, but maybe they don't know what it means. Now, sounds nice, right? By the way, I made this. This is my first instrument. I mean, my first ukulele that I ever built. So I'm playing G, C, E, C. So to play the C chord, it actually takes up 3 notes. It's not C, 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 C. So this is the whole essence of harmony, where if you're in a choir, the baritones would be singing this, or if it's a symphony, the bassoon or tuba, right? Tenor, alto, soprano, and all together. So if you've ever heard a choir warming up and stuff, that's the whole essence of harmony. And on a philosophical level, that's harmony too, right? Like you have this white guy, African American guy, Asian guy, Indian guy, and they all sound good together. They all work together to create something nice. That's what harmony is. So anyways, the nice thing about the ukulele and what I do is now, this is the harmony, right? Just the chords. If I said, what song am I playing? There's no way you could identify it. But if I play the melody part, okay, now you know what song that is. But the melody by itself sounds pretty empty and kind of childish if you just play the melody by itself, right? Same thing if you just play the harmony. If you're not singing, no one's gonna know what you're doing. So for me, I like to combine the two together. So if I played, sounds a little bit more fuller, more complete. Or if I throw in some finger picking. So that's the kind of the foundation of flamenco guitar. I mean, classical guitar, right? You're kind of putting the two together, so you can play everything as a solo, and people can appreciate it and recognize it. So, one person who was a really big fan of the ukulele was George Harrison from the Beatles, and I have a second-hand account of a friend of mine who got in touch with George. Well, George got in touch with him because he wanted to see his ukuleles. And so anyway, it's a really cool story. Anyways, George lived in Hawaii, and he would actually go to the ukulele festivals in Hawaii and kind of sit down on the grass and hang with people. And if anybody made too big of a fuss, he would just like walk away, But he really, really liked ukulele. And he would pass out ukuleles at his house parties for everyone to like lead a song. But this is something that's simple that he, I don't know, I like to think that he wrote it on the ukulele, but probably wrote it on the guitar. But it's very easy to play. It's a G chord. Easy.
Yeah, super easy. That'll take me a couple of years.
But yeah, it's a nice happy sound, right? And haven't you noticed that when you have like a TV commercial that wants to, maybe like laundry detergent or a car commercial, something that where the producers really wanted like a light, friendly, pleasant, open kind of a vibe to their commercial, it's gonna be ukulele, like
Yeah,
99% of the time.
yeah, so it's a very relaxing sound, So every time I hear it, I always remember Hawaii and how relaxing and how everything slows down and you can breathe and so that's my experience.
And that's why it's nice to just have a couple of fingers, one finger, two fingers, three. It's not supposed to be a stressful kind of a thing.
Cool. So yeah, I think any of the Beatles song, they all are very beautiful, but also simple at the same time, which is very difficult to achieve, in music in general. I mean, difficult in life in general, like really, really simple things, but also really beautiful and really have a lot of depth.
It's really easy to get started on the ukulele. I actually teach beginner ukulele classes here in like a Torrance Adult School, Southfield Adult School, and there's a lot of people who I think have been turned off by music lessons when they were younger. I actually kind of quit piano because of my piano teacher, and I don't want to be that person, to do the same thing to somebody else, a student of mine. So I think there are a lot of people who have been discouraged at an early point in life, and I mean, my classes can be anywhere from like 18 years old to 80 years old, but usually it's the older retirees who just want to kind of rediscover things, and have a chance to be able to create music. And it's so easy to get started on the ukulele. There's my friends did no. Now I do an ukulele festival in Torrance every year in September. This year I called it off a little bit earlier because for obvious reasons, and I don't think people are going to be ready to be in a huge because we get like a couple thousand people in at the festival in Torrance. I just don't see that happening again by the end of September. So I did call it off. But my friends Craig Chi and Sarah Maisel, like the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, um, they did an online ukulele festival the other last week and then a couple weeks before that. So I think I would love everyone to watch it. If you can go online, go to Chi Maisel, CheeMaisel.com/minifest, and you'll get a whole. They recorded it on YouTube. It was YouTube live, and now of course it's recorded. They can see all kinds of variety of performers, beginner lessons. I did a finger picking lesson at the last one, just to give you so people can get an idea of what can be done on the ukulele and how easy it is to get started. I would love it if people would go check it out. And since you can't go out and about right now,
Yeah,
I would love you to see it.
yeah, if you that's really great. I would love for you to touch on some of that. But before we do that, for those people who have never been to your ukulele festival, so can you tell everybody that's watching what can they expect? Like they don't know anything about the ukulele. They like music. They've maybe heard of it. They know what it is, but they've never tried it before. And if they go to the festival, what can they experience? What kind of programs do you have?
Well, by the way, save the date, October 2nd, 2021, Torrance Cultural Arts Center. And it's Los Angeles Ukulele Festival.com. So I wanted to be something for everybody. So if you want to rediscover the ukulele or just learn from scratch, I mean, we have lessons from everything from kid beginners, like who just like parents want to bring their kids to have a musical experience, to learning how to tune it, learning the first chords, put together like 4 chords like this. And that right there, that's like a bazillion songs, right? So it's just something like where to put your fingers, how to hold it, how to finger pick it, how to strum it, how to count beats, really basic stuff up to advanced, like jazz chord melodies, how to arrange songs for solo performance. So we have lessons going on for all levels throughout the day. Also, we have live performances from like the best of the best all day. Everyone that you see on stage is going to be like a headliner. And then we give opportunities to, local clubs and groups as well. And we have vendors. So the whole courtyard is full of vendors, a lot of them ukulele makers. So this one I made together with Brothers Ukes. You can check them out. And people like them, or like really high-end stuff is there, and high-end ukulele makers down to like entry-level instruments and just little fun stuff. That's all free and open to the public. We have shave ice, we have food. So it's killer. And it's one flat fee to get in. It's just a really bang up time. If you go to the website, you'll see some videos of the past festivals and you'll see what fun everyone's having.
Yeah, so so I want to talk about the ukulele as a compared to, since you've done all kinds of instruments, as compared to all the other instruments. Why should people give it a try? Like give us some talk about like the differences and kind of how ukulele would fit in their lives.
Well, there's only 4 strings as opposed to the guitar, the 6 strings. So it's a little bit easier, plus it's smaller. So it's kind of fun to be able to wrap your hand around it like this, and just play one chord. You can't really do that on the guitar unless you have open tuning. But I think that's the charm of it, is like you can hold these 4 strings or 1 string at a time, 2 strings at a time. It's very easy to get started. I think everybody people love to sing, so that's another fun thing. If you play like the sax, you can only play the melody like this. That's all you can do. You got to be part of a group, for you to really have a good time. Ukulele is very self-contained. I can play very softly. Like if I had a baby and the baby's sleeping. Can you do that on the saxophone? I don't think so. Or the trumpet, you couldn't take the trumpet on a train, or well, I don't know if you do it on the airplane, but you could theoretically play your ukulele like this on an airplane. You can't do that on the trumpet. And yeah, it's super versatile. I mean, you look at people who just sing and strum, up to people like, James Hill or Jake Shimabukuro. You can make it as easy or hard as you want.
Yeah, so that's the one thing I love the most, is that it's very versatile, like you said, and you can play it anywhere. You can take it anywhere. So I study piano. I study classical piano, and one of the things about that is if there wasn't a piano there, I couldn't play.
Yeah.
And if I could play and it's at home, I really it's just me and the piano mostly. I might have some family members around, but it's not like out in public. Whereas ukulele you can bring anywhere. Even the guitar is a pretty big size to be lugging around. So
one of the things that got me into guitar was I was really into drums at that time, like in high school. But man, I had to like break down my whole drum kit, go down the stairs, load it into the car, unload it, set it up, do the gig, break it down, load it back in the car, go back upstairs, set it up at home. I mean, it was kind of ridiculous. I was like, come on. and then my friend who was a drummer got into guitar, and I was like, oh God, this is so much more portable, So then ukulele is just a scaled down version of the guitar, and maybe I'll switch to harmonica later to make it even easier on myself, But,
yeah, I think it just always reminds me how laid back it is. Like it's a perfect like instrument to be like laid back. Take it to the beach. You can play it, at the beach, like you say, on the train, wherever it is, and it's just really versatile and simple and not serious.
And who's going to complain? Who's going to complain if you practice that in your apartment? Are your neighbors going to complain? I don't think so.
Yeah. So, do you have another song that maybe you can share with everybody right now?
Yeah. I think jazz stuff sounds really good on the ukulele. So this is my little short arrangement. You can play with your thumb. like a jazz guitarist would do. Or classical style.
Awesome. Yeah, I love the different flavors that you can play. You know, a lot of people are one style or another, but I like that you have like this mixture of styles.
If I was a good singer, I could do a gig where I strum it and sing it,
Uh-huh.
and then take a little break, a solo instrumental. Man, I wish I was a good singer.
So I have a question. We had a request here from Samantha. She says she wanted you to play one of your favorite songs.
That was one of my favorite songs.
That was one of your favorite songs? Okay.
Or I can play another one.
Sure. Hey, all right. There you have it, Samantha.
For
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
Para ti.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, not you. For Samantha.
Yeah. Well, thank you too, because everybody else, you know, could hear it. I could hear it. I enjoyed it too. For people out there who've never played it before, how give them some tips on how they could get started if they want to try it.
Well, I recommend a company called Ohana. I forgot the website, but just Google Ohana ukulele, and they're right here in Long Beach. They got instruments from like entry level, what, $20 or $30 up to, you know, whatever you want to spend, and you can get started on a really, really small budget. So first you gotta get the instrument. You gotta get a quality instrument. I like them because, you know, they're manufactured overseas, but when they come to Long Beach, they're set up nicely with the fretwork and everything, so they make it easy to play. Then, since, well, at least until you can get back out and about, go on YouTube. Of course, there's a plethora of resources on YouTube. My friends, what are, you know, I would recommend you going to my friends' channels. The Ukulele Teacher, look him up. My buddy John, the Ukulele Teacher. That's one YouTube channel I would recommend. Check out my other friend, Bernadette Teaches Music. Bernadette Teaches Music. That's another good YouTube channel. I actually was one of the first ones to put ukulele YouTube stuff up there, like, but that was like back in when I was living in Irvine, like maybe 2004 or something, 2005. But I never kept up with it, you know. Boy, I could be cashing in now if I did.
Probably, it's all about
I
that.
got about like
it's all
I got like
that
about 1 million
longevity,
views,
right?
but
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's for now. While you're stuck inside, sequestered inside, you can get a lot done looking at YouTube. And by the way, you can even figure out how to string your ukulele on YouTube or how to tune it on YouTube. So all these resources that wasn't there when I was learning music. Then when you get back out, on the streets, then come to Torrance or Manhattan Beach, take my beginner class. Actually, the Torrance one is scheduled to start sometime in October. So hopefully everything will be, a little bit more opened up by that time. So I hope to see you there. If you're not in the area, then, you know, find a class down where you live. I'm sure there's someone giving lessons or some kind of ukulele club, that you might want to check out and be a part of.
Yeah, we have a couple of, we have definitely at least one in Laguna Beach that they meet once a week at the Hobie Surf Shop. And of course, right now they're not holding them anymore for right now until we get past the virus and stuff like that. But there was a good community that every time I showed up, there was probably about a good at least 60, 70 people there, and somebody would be leading
Yeah.
a song, and everybody would watch
And it's
the
not hard stuff, right? It's just
yeah,
like basic chords.
yeah,
And most clubs, they have their own little song book that, stuff like I don't know, jambalaya or
yeah.
hey good looking, stuff like that, really easy, beginner friendly type of stuff. And if you don't really know the songs, or if you don't really know the chords, they have them there printed on the paper, and you can use your ears to follow along with the people strumming next to you. And it's a good way to get to open up your ears and just learn more songs and be around other people who are enjoying it.
Yeah, and if you're a beginner, like I'm a beginner, like when I show up to those things and I play, there's so many ukulele being played, you can't really hear all your mistakes.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
So you think you're doing pretty good. Oh, so no plans. So obviously you've given us a lot of resources. For the festival in October, we'll kind of see how that turns out. Of course, if when we all get out of quarantine, this is just temporary, anyways. Of course, next year you'll have the festival, in person and all that kind of stuff. So, anything else that you would like to share with everybody?
um you know there's no such thing as natural talent. I mean, of the people who are out there playing music and earning a living playing music, natural talent is like maybe not even 1% of the whole equation. We've spent a lot of time, you know, but we spent a lot of time getting to a certain level. Of course, we enjoyed it though. I mean, it's really fun playing along with recordings. When I was learning guitar, for example, learning the chords, I'd play along with the Eagles' greatest hits all the time. It's just really something really satisfying about playing along with the recordings. And then you step on, you move on to playing live. And but don't underestimate yourself. As long as you make it fun, you got to enjoy it. And you got to look at practicing as something that's like a discovery kind of a thing, not like a chore. And yeah, I just really encourage people to rediscover music, especially when you start playing along with songs, then you start really listening to the music and you realize, oh, I never noticed that before about that song. Your ears will really start opening up and you just have a greater appreciation, I think. If people put down, like maybe there's an artist that you don't like, like say, well, I don't like much about Madonna or Justin Bieber or something. But when you start learning songs and you realize how hard it is to learn songs and start performing in front of people, then you realize, oh, it really is something special, to be able to do that night after night in front of tens of thousands of people.
Yeah,
And
when you become a musician or you study music to some degree, you start to realize any kind of instruments that you're trying to learn, it will probably be the hardest thing you will ever do in your whole life, because there's so much artistry, so much practice that required, and then you have to have a lot of confidence. You have to play in front of people, or you could just play for yourself and stuff like that. But I think you're absolutely right about right now is like the greatest time to pick up an instrument. I was just looking over one of my clients' condos that she wants to rent out, and she had in the kitchen all this painting and equipment, all these paintings and canvases and stuff like that. I said, "Oh, you paint?" You go. She says, "No, I just started since the quarantine," you know.
Oh,
And
cool.
so same kind of thing. I like, you can learn all these things. You can be at home. We have technology that allows you to learn online, like you said, on YouTube. You can learn any aspect of the ukulele, lessons or tuning or whatever you want to do online. You can even order it online from wherever, and they just ship it to you. So you
Yeah.
can do everything online. It saves you so much time, not having to drive somewhere, not having to go show up for some lesson. You have so much extra time because you're not traveling and using all this time to try to get to places. So you have all this resources in front of you to do that. And everybody has a computer. Everybody can watch YouTube. So I think it's a really great way to use your time while in quarantine.
There's a if you're on Facebook, there's a page, Ukulele Underground, and there's a lot of people who just every day they're sharing something. Um, so if you want to see what other people are doing with ukulele, most of them are singing and strumming funny songs. So it's songs that you wouldn't think of anyone playing on the ukulele, like Blondie or something. But yeah, it's fun. I think it'll be a neat way for people to see what people are doing out there on ukulele.
Yeah, you have so many great tips on which site to go to and which page to go to. So when we're all done, at some point, if you don't mind, come back. You're tagged on the post here, and just put in the comments all the links that you talked about today, so that people
Okay.
can check it out. So Mitch, thank you so much. You have so much to offer with your musical talents and your musical experience, and I love having you here and sharing it with everybody. So as per tradition, we always ask people what we always ask people what's the one quote that they can share with the world.
So you just gotta wanna, and I'll dedicate this to Chad Yoshino if he's watching this or if he will watch this. Chad is my age. His father was the band director, the high school band director. Although I think by the time I got to high school, he was retired, but my sisters were in that high school band. Anyways, Mr. Yoshino would always say, "You just gotta wanna." And that's all it comes down to in life. I mean, I think I could be a good surgeon if I really wanted to do that, or I could be a good carpenter if I was really had my heart into it and I put all my effort into, studying it and mastering it. But that's not what I want to do.
Yeah, excellent.
So
I think it's very, very profound, and also profound in kind of a light way. If you think about it,
yeah,
you just gotta wanna. And if you say that to yourself, you just gotta wanna. Do I wanna? Do I wanna play? Do I wanna enrich my life? Do I wanna start a new career? Do I wanna pursue what I always wanted to pursue but didn't have a chance to? But maybe now you have a chance to do it. So I hope,
or if what you're doing isn't giving you joy anymore, then quit.
yeah,
I mean, nothing. Quitting has like a negative connotation, I think, but I think sometimes people forget it feels really good to quit sometimes.
yeah, and maybe quitting just allows you to take a break and kind of reflect on what you really want. So I think it's really, really profound. So thank you very much, Mitch, and I
Thanks,
hope you
Leo.
all out there just to think about what you gotta want to do. And so go and do it. And I hope you gotta want to play a ukulele, because I love it. I think I'm always gonna love it. I'm always gonna at least play with it. Whenever I get time. Every time I pick it up, I enjoy it. Every time I listen to somebody else play or I hear it somewhere, I enjoy it. So I hope you guys all give it a try. And thank you again, Mitch, for being here and sharing us so much valuable resources and music and your life experience and journey. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we talked about a lot. Mitch has shared his story on his musical journey. He also gave us some tips and just kind of introduced us to the instrument. He played some music for us, and which was super wonderful. And then we talked about you just gotta wanna. So We're going to, as always, we always do this Monday through Friday. My show is Monday through Friday. I will try to bring you, amazing guests like Mitch here for you Monday through Friday every day. And it's at 5 o'clock every day. If this is your first time here, you'll know that tomorrow we'll be here at 5 o'clock with another guest. And I hope you all have a great night. Thank you for joining us. And thank you again, Mitch.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. See you tomorrow.